So, as I believe about every work of Thomas Merton, I think that there's much there for our enjoyment, and in today's day and age, for our spiritual, moral edification. So I figured I would do a little series where I read through his little book, Thoughts on Solitude, going a chapter at a time. And to start with, in the preface, I won't read the whole preface because the first is kind of a note as to his own experience in solitude and the writing of the book. But this particular part sticks out as something, especially after the recent release of Magnifica Humanitas, that is extremely relevant to our days. In an age when totalitarianism has striven, in every way, to devaluate and degrade the human person, we hope it is right to demand a hearing for any and every sane reaction in the favor of man's inalienable solitude and his interior freedom. The murderous din of our materialism cannot be allowed to silence the independent voices which will never cease to speak, whether they be the voices of Christian saints, or the voices of Oriental sages like Lao Tzu, or the Zen masters, or the voices of men like Thoreau, or Martin Buber, or Max Picard. It is all very well to insist that man is a social animal. The fact is obvious enough. But that is no justification for making him a mere cog in a totalitarian machine, or in a religious one either, for that matter. In actual fact, society depends for its existence on the inviolable personal solitude of its members. Society, to merit its name, must be made up not of numbers or mechanical units, but of persons. To be a person implies responsibility and freedom, and both these imply a certain interior solitude, a sense of personal integrity, a sense of one's own reality and of one's ability to give himself to society, or to refuse that gift. When men are merely submerged in a mass of impersonal human beings pushed around by automatic forces, they lose their true humanity, their integrity, their ability to love, their capacity for self-determination. When society is made up of men who know no interior solitude, it can no longer be held together by love. And consequently, it is held together by a violent and abusive authority. But when men are violently deprived of the solitude and freedom which are their due, the society in which they live becomes putrid. It festers with servility, resentment, and hate. No amount of technological progress will cure the hatred that eats away the vitals of materialistic society like a spiritual cancer. The only cure is, and must always be, spiritual. There is not much use talking to men about God and love if they are not able to listen. The ears with which one hears the message of the gospel are hidden in man's heart, and these ears do not hear anything unless they are favored with a certain interior solitude and silence. In other words, since faith is a matter of freedom and self-determination, the free receiving of a freely given gift of grace, man cannot assent to a spiritual message as long as his mind and heart are enslaved by automatism. He will always remain so enslaved as long as he is submerged in a mass of other automatons, without individuality and without their rightful integrity as persons. What is said here about solitude is not just a recipe for hermits. It has a bearing on the whole future of man and of his world, and especially, of course, on the future of his religion.